for hanging around, guys. Appreciate you, as always. Good crowd, too, and I appreciate them being here. I won an American NCAA tournament team last year. I knew they got 5 guys that can shoot. It's going to be good for us against Wisconsin and those teams that can put a 5-man out there that can shoot. I thought we didn't do a great job in the first half at all. I was very disappointed. In the second half, we held them basically to 2 threes, with one was a bank at the end. So, tale of 2 halves, but we got a win against a team that really, is well coached, and he's done a really good job. He really has. And I knew the film, watching the film, and the way they zoom it, and our actions in Zoom weren't great. Like, we got to do a better job being up to touch and Xing earlier and louder. We have to do a better job defensively for sure. But we're 4-0. I'll rebound them. These 2 guys played fantastic. And, the second half we played, so much better. But we got to start heading to a 40-minute team, and right now we're just not there.
Yeah. You mentioned it, in the second half, just 3 of 11 from 3 for American. I guess, what did you guys do defensively to kind of shut down the perimeter?
I mean, we just really got up to touch on everything. Our hand activity was elite. We now X'd at the right time. We have 5 different screen coverages that we want to be really good at, but they zoom and then they flare on the weak side. They got some really good action. It's hard to guard if you guys aren't ready for it. And then, Bryce and Bai were better 5-men guarding. Their 5-man tonight sometimes is hard when you got to step out 5. So, we did just a much better job in every area in the second half. And we finished the first half the right way, too, because we were down and, we got to play from being down, too, which I kind of like. And we clawed our way back to a tie game at halftime. And then we came out in the first 4 minutes and kind of established the game. But our coverages have to be, elite, and they weren't, tonight against a team that can really makes you pay when you make a mistake.
Brian, and just generally, how do you feel like this team is at defensively through 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for certain times, in games, we've been 20 great minutes. Like, we've had some great minutes, but, we play in a 40-minute league. So we have a chance. And these guys know it too. We got a chance, but we're not there yet, and I don't know if any coach in the country will tell you he's there yet, but, in the second half, in the first 4 minutes, we kind of showed you what we can do because we got some elite length. We X'd on wraps that they had and back cuts. We didn't give up any back cuts, in the second half, so we took away some of that, but obviously 3-point shots. Like, if teams are making them, then the basket gets bigger, and you can't give them that kind of confidence, but yeah, I'm not happy where we are with anything, but I love these guys, and these guys work. They work when no one's watching, and I kind of like that.
Another great game from Dylan. What can you say about his performance tonight?
I mean, have a double-doubles. He's starting to string them together and scores in a lot of different ways. And, I will tell you, the 4 guys that have returned to our program have all gotten better, and I'm proud, of that. That's the work that they put in. But Dylan's, when he rebounds like that, it's a big thing for us. And then he could sit down and guard people. He made a big play at the end defensively too. So, proud of his progress and think he can even do more. Yeah.
Anybody? Brian? Yeah. You kind of mentioned it with Bai and Bryce playing a little bit more today. I'm assuming partly because of the way they play 5 out. But did you think this was Bai's best performance so far this season? And
Bai's getting better too. I mean, I mean that 5 spot. I know you guys. It's been pretty productive when you look at minutes. Now he got in foul trouble too, so you got to play through that. But and Javante's working his tail off too. So those guys are a little more mobile and can, get out on people. Bai can really block shots, but he's coming too. He's figuring it out. And, I think those guys, they're all unique. They're all unique, but it helps when these 2 guys, play the way that they play. And then it's not so much pressure on some of those other guys.
Alec and then Brian.
In the second half, it seemed like the offense kind of opened up more at the basket, 20 poits in the paint in the second half. I guess, what kind of changed from half 1 to half 2 to kind of open things up in the paint?
We were going to the basket soft. Like, you got to attack. They gamble a lot. They play, a unique kind of defense that forces you out of your stuff. So, got the ball going downhill, moved it, some great passes. I mean, Mike to Dennis with a huge fastball, down the stretch there, and Dennis knocked it home, so just shared the game, got it going downhill. Again, another game we out-rebound double digits an opponent, and we weren't up early. Early they were up on us. I think we were -6 at the 8-minute mark. So we came back to win the battle of the boards by 10. So got to do better, but we moved the ball a little bit. We got some answers. Got 4 guys in double figures, and we got to get better. A couple more days, and then we got a Central Connecticut team that won the league last year, and then we jump on a plane and head to Vegas. So we got to get better in a short period of time.
Steve, you just mentioned Dennis hitting that big 3. How about the way his game is still adjusting to the American game and his progress?
Yeah, I mean, he
double
can
figures.
do a lot of things for us. You kind of see. I think he was plus. I don't put my glasses on, but he does a lot of positives for us. He's plus 17 in the plus minus category. So when he was on the floor, some good things really happened for us. He's an elite shooter. I mean, and he's a really good passer too. But I think they're all kind of learning. They're learning how to play together. They're making the adjustment. Haroon came in off the bench, gave us a good lift too. So they're figuring it out, and we're going to need all of them. And those guys, the bench is huge. So important to us moving forward here.
It's a very small sample size, only 4 games, obviously. But is there anything that you're kind of learning about this team that's maybe surprising you or impressing you, or again, in a small sample?
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, you always want more. And, we didn't have a great practice yesterday, and it may be the one practice, this team practices pretty well. So I never said that last year about that team. Like, this team practices well. We got to keep our edge. As you start playing game and game and game, you're trying to worry about their bodies and everything. But, this team usually practices well. We didn't yesterday. And so, we got to make sure that doesn't happen, because I think how we practice is how we play. And that's what I've kind of learned about this team so far. Yeah.
Anybody else? Good?
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.